A YouTuber by the name of Vaughn revealed that IamJustAiri's mother's real name is actually not Janae, and that she's a scammer.
The fraud manager who used to manage us, Janae, aka her real name is Janae, if y'all did not know that. Because Janae is the snake, this dirty person.
Fun fact about me, anything I say, Google it. Okay? So, her name is Dejanine. So, her name being Dejanine is not a secret. Google it.
Well, that was Airi clearing up that if anybody has anything they want to know about her mama, they could just Google it because it's not a secret. And that's what the fans did. People decided to dig up who she really was. And I came across an article, and I'm going to fill you guys in on all the tea on all of this fraudulent stuff that came up regarding her mother. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about IamJustAiri's mother yet again. So it looks like social media has done some digging and they uncovered her records as far as to what her criminal past consists of. A lot of people started to, accuse her of being a scammer. She put a lot of YouTubers together and she formed these clout houses and everything like that. And everybody started falling out with her. Different people were accusing her of scamming them. Other people were accusing her of doing shady business and, not being an upstanding person and trying to lock them out of their accounts and manipulating them and turning them against one another. There was a lot of accusations that people threw out around her. So because people started to, call her mom a snake and a fraud and a scammer, IamJustAiri decided to come to her mother's defense and tell people like, look, my mom is not this scammer and this shady person that you guys are making her out to be. My mom got a record because she put us in a school that we quote unquote were not supposed to go to because it was out of our district, and she got in trouble for that.
Her record, if you look at the facts, her record is for her kids. She don't got no record because she killed somebody, she scammed somebody.
So a lot of people were thinking like, people do that all the time. People don't get in trouble for that. People don't get arrested for that. Who gets arrested for that? Well, it turns out that her mom actually did get in trouble for that, but there was more to the story. So in their town, there's 2 local news stations that actually covered this situation. And this happened back in March of 2011. So their local news channel 21 WFMJ covered this story. And then there's another news article that also covered it, and they are called The Vindicator. So I'm going to go to The Vindicator's article first. I'm going to read you guys that first, and then I'm going to go to the local news to fill you guys in on what they reported around her record. So it says, mother guilty in case of falsified records. And it says this was written by Ashley Lutheran, and it was Wednesday, March 30th, 2011. It says, a 31-year-old township woman pleaded guilty to falsifying records to send her children to Boardman schools. Dejanine M. Brockman of Centerville Avenue pleaded Tuesday morning to misdemeanor and was sentenced to pay the school district $671.40 in restitution. A felony charge of tampering with records was dismissed in exchange for the plea to the misdemeanor, said Assistant Prosecutor Martin S. Hume. So the prosecutor in the case made a statement, and it says, we're satisfied with the result. We believe she's been held accountable, and that will be a deterrent to others, Hume said. So basically, it looks like they made an example out of her, and they didn't want people doing this, because I myself too, I never heard of people actually getting in trouble for this. I actually went to a school out of my district as well. And my mom just simply used her friend's address so that I can go to a school, because the school that was closest to me, all my cousins who went there before I got there, they all got in trouble. It was a bad school. It was always having fights. And my mom didn't want me going there. So she used her friend's address, and I went to a school in a different district. I can see why the mom would do that. And a lot of parents do it. There are so many parents who do this. Like, like some kids want to go to certain schools for sports. Some kids want to go to certain schools for just different reasons, and parents use different addresses so that their kids can go to their schools. And I have never heard of anyone actually getting in trouble for it, but it turns out IamJustAiri's mother, it sounds like in their town, she was made an example of, like they made an example out of her to deter people from not doing this anymore. And you see the prosecutor's statement. But anyways, let me finish reading this article. So Brockman spoke to the Vindicator on Tuesday afternoon about the case. Brockman said that when she moved from Michigan last year, she researched the area and wanted to send her children to Boardman schools. She moved into a rented house on Pinehurst Avenue because the owner told her it was in Boardman School District. However, Brockman later learned that it's in Youngtown School District. It was put the kids in private school or move into a house in Boardman. It was cheaper to move to Boardman, and I looked at a house on Erskine Avenue, she said. She met with the owner and made arrangements to rent the property. I thought I would fill out the application and get them enrolled in school while we waited. This things got blown out of proportion, she said. This is where I messed up. I drew up a lease, a mock lease, and I put the Erskine address on it because I anticipated us getting it. But before Brockman and her family could move in, the owner told her that she had decided to sell the home instead of renting. Brockman looked for a new location and chose 44 Centerville Avenue, which is in the school district. She and her children officially became township residents 3 days after the school year started. At the time, only 2 of her children were attending Boardman schools. 3 were visiting their father in Arizona, Brockman said. 5 of Brockman's 6 children are school age and currently attend Boardman schools. As soon as I got my house on Centerville, I took the lease up there instantly, she said. Superintendent Frank Lazari said the district has investigated hundreds of these types of cases, but Brockman was the first to be prosecuted. It was a matter of a few days, but still the law was broken in the falsified document. This is the first time we've had a case where someone had actually forged a document that we have caught. There may be other instances that slipped through, he said. He added that Brockman's children were not taken out of the district during the case and will remain because they have a current township address. Lazary said it was only by accident that police in the district became aware of the case when the Erskine homeowner reported mail addressed to Brockman was sent to an empty house. For her part, Brockman described the investigation as bordering harassment, with police showing up at her Centerville home multiple times and pulling her children out of class to ask where they live. She doesn't intend to be a township resident for much longer. I have no plans on staying in Boardman, but I taught my children not to run. They will finish out the year, she said. So basically what caught her up so badly in this case is because she was going to rent a property and the renter decided not to rent to her mom. But because she was anxious to get her children into school, she made up a mock-up rental agreement with that address and she submitted it to the school to enroll her children in school. When the rental property fell through, her mother then got her into an actual residence that was in the school district, but she got caught up because she made up a mock-up rental lease agreement. And like I said, a lot of parents do this. I don't know the extent if they're going to make up mock rental agreements. Most cases, they'll find somebody who lives in the area and, tell them, let me use your address. And when I get the mail, give me the mail, blah, blah, blah. But this case, she happened to get caught up because mail was going to an empty house and it looks like maybe it got sent back and they got put on alert. It sounds like there's a bad town where a lot of parents are wanting their kids to go into a certain school because they're saying that this happens with hundreds and hundreds of cases. So that means that the schools are just that bad, that parents are really that adamant to get their children into the better school, which I've seen this done time and time again. But where she messed up was where she made up this fake rental agreement. And that's what she got charged with. And that's why she had to pay restitution. But her criminal record does not stop there. She actually got caught up again when she was using fake social security numbers. So the local news channel reported this situation, and they did up a really quick article, and it pretty much says Youngstown's mom allegedly uses fake documents again. Youngstown, Ohio, the Youngstown mom who used phony documents to enroll her children in Boardman School is back in court for allegedly using more fake records. On Thursday, Dejanine Brockman was arraigned in Judge Elizabeth Colby Court for using false Social Security number at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Brockman's bond was set at $10,000 cash. On Thursday, Dejanine Brockman was arraigned in Judge Elizabeth Colby's court for using a false Social Security number at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Brockman's bond was set at $10,000 cash. In the earlier case, Brockman paid the Boardman School District nearly $600. So that was, them referencing the case that I just read to you guys. So basically, she went to the DMV and she gave them a fake Social Security number. I don't know why she would. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But they reported that, and then they also had the other write-up on this situation, and it was kind of like a short write-up too, and it's basically the same thing that I read to you guys in the article that was from the Vindicator, but this is from the actual local news, so that just verifies that the Vindicator is a legit reporting site, and this is the news site, or whatever. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that it quote unquote makes her a scammer for wanting to provide a better life for her children and putting them in a district? A lot of you even watching this video have parents who put you in districts that did not belong to you, that you were not supposed to go to. There are several cases of people who want their kids to go to certain schools because they have better sports program. There are other parents who want their kids to go to certain schools because they have different college prep programs. There are different reasons why parents prefer certain schools, and a lot of parents change the addresses that their children are supposed to be in so their kids can go into this situation a lot smoother instead of trying to do these inter-district transfers that you have to wait and there's delays and things like that. Do you think that that makes her a quote-unquote scammer, like people are painting her out to be because she wanted to provide a better school in life for her children? Or do you think that this is something that speaks to her character, and it's like if you're going to make a fake rental agreement and you're going to submit that to the school, and then on top of that, if you're going to go to the DMV and give them fake Social Security numbers, then that means that you're just a scammer by nature. What do you think? Do you think that is just a simple instance where she wanted her kids to go to a better school? Or do you think that because several people are painting her out to be a snake, that this speaks to her character and the type of person she is? Okay, and if you made it this far in the video and you still are like, what's going on? What's happening? Basically, Janae decided to manage a whole bunch of YouTubers. She brought them together and she started managing them. A lot of them fell out with her. Every single person that she managed, aside from a few, like 2 other people, including her daughter, left. They all said that she was a scam, a fraud, and a phony.
What's going on? Janae was stirring up the mix and picking out who she wanted, who she wanted to be.
In fact, the fraud manager who used to manage us, Janae, aka her real name is Dejanay, if y'all did not know that. Because Janae is the snake, this dirty person.
All that shit was snakery, bro. That's snake shit, bro. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. Guess what? And I'm gonna end on this note. Because I'm hurt. It's fucked up what happened. I hate that shit had to end like this. But like it is what it is. I played so smart, my nigga. Listen, I didn't respond to nothing. I didn't respond to nothing.
I feel like one day she would say, oh, yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go in January. And then the next day she'll be like, I feel like we can keep going. I feel like I can, we can start juicing this some more. I feel like this.
And all of their accounts, it didn't really sound very clear on what she did to fraud them. It sounded like she tried to manage them and they just was unhappy with her management skills because, quite frankly, they don't really sound too bright when they're explaining things. I'm like, are these people slow or what? Because they didn't really do a good job of painting the picture of the actual deception. It sounded like we signed a contract, we're not happy with the contract, and this and that. But the more I look into her situation, maybe she is really a scammer. Like in my first video, I'm like, nah, she's not a scammer. They just signed a contract and they should have read over the contract or whatever. But now that I look more into it, I took another look at Airi's video where she was like trying to define whether her mom is a scammer or not. And she was basically saying like there was another situation where her mom tried to sign a check like that did not belong to her.
How it became such a, on her record felony, or however, it came to the point that it was like she was on welfare. So back in the day, if you're on welfare, it's a different process of just changing daycares. It's not like it just don't work like that.
So basically her mom was on welfare, and they have this daycare welfare program when you're on welfare and you have children. And so what's supposed to happen is a lot of times family members will watch the child, or daycare centers will watch the child, and the welfare office will assign the check for the daycare office, but you both have to approve of like the amount of hours that the person watched them, and you know what I'm saying? So basically her mom tried to take the check, not give it to the daycare, and cash it on her own because supposedly she wanted her children to go to a different daycare because her children were not treated fairly, and she forged the daycare signature and tried to cash the check.
She was mistreating us. So my mom at the time, she's young, she signs the check Mickey Mouse because her thing was, I'm not going to forge her signature. I'm just going to sign it Mickey Mouse. So I just signed a random name.
Here, if you want to see Airi talk about that, that's in her video where she exposing whether her mom is a fraud or not. And when I went back to look at it, I'm like, I don't know, something doesn't really sound right there. And now that I'm looking more into it, and she's going to motor vehicle places, and she's using fake social security cards, and she's doing fake socials and falsifying documents and all of these things, I really don't know. I just wish that the YouTubers that talked about it had a better explanation. Like their description didn't really sound like, I'm just like, I really don't know. Like I said, I want to know what you guys think about this though. What is your summary? Does this speak to her character, or was this simply a mother who was trying to do what she had to do so that her children went to a better school? What do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comments. All right, guys, that's all for this video. Stay tuned for more celebrity news and gossip and YouTubers tea. But in order to do that, you got to hit that like button, and you also got to hit that subscribe button so you're up to date when I post these new videos. Also, have that notification bell on so that you're notified. All right, guys, peace.
So listen, seriously, y'all.
Let's go. We about to.
No, we're about to go over the room so we can know what we're doing. No, we're about to go over the room so we can know what we're doing.
Let's go. She tricked us. Bianca, you ready to go?
No, wait. Okay, no. Listen, no.